And welcome to the No Kidding Podcast.
I started laughing.
I'm Lisa.
I started laughing. Sorry. Hold on.
Okay, we're going to do that, the full laugh intro.
Why am I laughing? This is not a good start. Okay, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Andrew.
Sorry, I'm Lisa. And he's Andrew. And welcome.
Obviously, we're not kidding around here. So, everything's fine. So for Christmas, I got you the good old shock mount. How's that work?
Oh, yeah. I actually really love it. Well, I mean, it's hard, it's hard to review something like that because I definitely don't notice as many boings as I used to. So that must mean that it's working really good. It doesn't obstruct my view any more than it already had before, like my mic. So that's good. It has a little heart on it, which I love because it makes.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even notice. I mean, I put that there.
Sure. You've been fooled, or I've been fooled. And I like the size of it. It's nice and big. I like that it's not heavy because the other one that I tried out before was really heavy. It was made of metal, and well, this is made of metal too, but it's not as. I don't know. It's just not as heavy. It has.
Wait, so you didn't do like a shock test? Like you didn't test it without it and then do a test with it?
Well, I've been not using it forever, so I'll let you be the judge. You know, when you edit, you can say, "Oh, there's a lot less issues." I don't know.
Hey, you know what? Test it right now. Everybody be quiet. Hey guys at home, stop. Shh. Everybody quiet. Hey, Ronald, I hear you. Okay.
Sally, put that down.
All right, now thump your desk. Oh, that was very good.
Ah, all right.
I just heard a little.
Okay.
It was. I assume that was just the sound of your fist hitting the table.
It was. I hit it pretty hard.
Oh, well, now we'll know.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's the totally scientific test.
So far, so good. I'm liking it. Liking it a lot.
Good. You like that it's big, huh?
I do. I think that because the reason is I feel like it bounces more because it's big. It's like, think of a trampoline, and wouldn't you just want a bigger one?
Yes. Excellent analogy.
That's my review.
Perfect. So I've heard from Mythbusters that it's better to dip the part of the chip that you bit into rather than the part that you were holding.
I'm sorry.
How do you feel about that?
A little bit more.
So let's say you're going to double dip one way or the
Sure.
other. Okay. Let's say you have these massive chips that are like giant. And you're like, okay, I need to like dip this and take a bite, and then I'm going to have to dip it again.
Yeah, I had that problem tonight because we had Moe's for dinner, and it's tacos, and we had chips.
Yeah. They have some pretty big torts.
They do. Go on.
So you go and you go to dip it the second time. Now, what do you do? Because you're double dipping at this point.
I don't care. It's just my cheese. So.
Okay. Well, say you're at a party.
Okay. What do you do?
This is that episode of Seinfeld.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, I get this now.
You double dip the chip.
Double dip the chip. You dip it once, you eat it, and then you dipped again.
You take a bite, then you dipped it again.
That's such a great show. We butchered that commentary, but anyways.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it went.
So
I watched it just 10 years ago, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly how that conversation went.
Sounds right.
So,
I get that.
What's your plan of action?
I can kind of concur with this because when you're dipping it with the part that your fingers were touching, because now your finger juice is in there. Whereas if you dipped it with where you bit it, it depends on how you're biting it, though. If you're sticking the whole thing in your mouth and like closing your lips around it, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of gunk on that too. But if you're just putting it on your teeth and like breaking it, man, that might be more sanitary. I don't know. What was the myth? How was it busted? Let me know.
So it just turns out that your hands are way dirtier than your mouth, basically. That's about how it goes. So they petri dished it up, and it turns out that the part of the chip that touched your mouth is less dirty has less bacteria concentration than the part that you were actually touching. So if you turn the chip around to dip it and be like, oh, it's fine. It's not the part I bit. It's actually probably worse unless you just like washed or sanitize your hands.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So, interesting findings.
Nice facts for you guys.
Saying.
We're making you smarter by the day.
Fun fact.
I like it. So anything new?
Just chilling and vibing. Been listening to that lo-fi hip hop.
Oh yeah? Yeah, you've been loving that?
Yeah, I've been all about it.
Told you like that. I've been watching a couple crazy things lately I'd like to share. Mainly because they're very, I would say, unique, well done, and props to these normal individuals. Well, okay, normal is a stretch. They're these just everyday Joes like you and me. Well, maybe not like you and me. Okay.
Interesting. Where are you going with
Let
this?
me explain. So they're basically YouTubers, and they have put out different things. So there's 3 different videos / channels that I've been watching. One just kind of stumbled across, well, actually Mike stumbled across it, and he was like instantly hooked, just because it's so interesting and unique and just a different perspective, which we all like. But it's called, I want to say the name of it is Shay or Shy. I want to say Shy, but it's spelled Shiey. And he named his channel Illegal Freedom. And basically every episode he travels somewhere or goes somewhere new, and he explores unique sides of the city or different areas of where he's located that other people normally wouldn't go, aka he trespasses into things and like.
Wait, but it's called Legal Freedom?
No, Illegal Freedom.
Oh, there you go.
So basically his whole shtick to begin with was he would just do illegal things. Not unsafe. Well, okay. Not unsafe to other people, and not unsafe, not like, he's not trying to hurt anybody or...
Like where it says no pedestrians past this point, and he'll step over that point.
Exactly, yeah. So, like, he goes into sewers underneath the city. He'll go into abandoned buildings. He'll go into old aircraft yards and, like, go inside airplanes. He'll go into old bunkers that are, like, still have things in there, like how exciting. Smoke masks and like all kinds of stuff. He'll go into old schools. He climbs. He's like I think he was a parkour guy. So he's really into climbing on top of things. He says that he feels safer when he's high up like as high up as he can go, because there's less people up there and he's less likely to get attacked. Like that's like his mindset is.
Yeah, it's like if you're getting chased by a predator, you go up a tree.
I guess so, yeah. So he does a lot of very, very, very questionably safe or unsafe activities involving climbing like really old, abandoned, rusted things that are super, super high in the sky. So you can kind of live dangerously, vicariously through this guy. And to me, it was more interesting just seeing things that you just normally wouldn't see, because most people don't explore these things. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's very unique.
Yeah. Does he shoot his videos in like 360?
No. He has like a GoPro, I think.
Yeah, I've seen a few things that are like, people where they've done like abandoned exploration like that and like made it kind of like a VR experience.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
That sounds really cool though.
And he's over in like he's like in Russia and that area.
Oh, that must be an excellent place to search for abandoned things.
It's pretty cool, yeah. And he's gotten caught a couple times, but he tries to talk his way out of it. He's pretty good at that usually, but there's been a couple times where he's been chased by police and whatever. But more than just that, he's actually a really good editor and producer of this. Like his content. So it's not super drawn out. It's not quick cuts. It's very realistic, and he's very good with talking to the camera. He's like got incredibly good English, and I don't know. It's just really interesting. So I recommend just checking it out at least to see the vibe of it. And again,
I'll recommend our urban exploration if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
You did a little bit of that yourself, right? You've been, I saw that you saw an armadillo, which I'm kind of jealous of. I've never seen an armadillo IRL.
That's true. I guess you could say that. But I was walking on a path.
Well, yeah, it wasn't illegal, but
it wasn't illegal.
It was cool.
It was well defined, but yeah.
You don't have to illegally explore.
That's true. It was borderline. I did get kind of lost in those woods. But I did find my way out. So all's good, obviously, because I'm here to speak of it. So I'm here to speak the tale. But yeah, I do have a video up of that. But there was this other guy who, oh gosh, I'm going to actually look it up real quick so I don't get it wrong. But he basically, have you heard of Survivor Man?
Yeah, you've talked about him here on this podcast.
Okay, yeah, because, we got into that for a little while. But basically, this guy takes on, and I don't know if Survivor Man was his inspiration or what, but he does what Survivor Man did. Survivor Man would go out and try to survive on basically nothing except for he had a knife or a machete, some kind of sharp object, and he would have, sometimes that's all he would have, but he would usually have like one other thing. And he would try to survive for 7 days after he'd been dropped off by,
But in like an urban environment?
No, like in the woods or on a beach or like an island or...
Is the same guy, the illegal exploration guy? Is that what you're saying?
No. This is a totally different channel. It's, but anyway, this guy, I think he kind of does what Survivor Man did. And he did a documentary where, so it's just one episode, or like one movie, I guess. It's like a little over an hour long, I think. And it's basically a documentary of him surviving for 300 days on his own. It's pretty interesting. I don't know how he did it, but he cut down 300 days into an hour documentary. But it's kind of like really cool because he's a really cool guy. And there are 2 occasions where he runs into people. One, there's just some tourists.
That's always a little spooky.
Yeah, right? And it only happened on, 2 of the 300 days, he ends up, hanging out with people, which he said was very much appreciated and, nice. But one of them was a hunter who had gotten hurt, and he actually helped him. And as a thank you, the hunter gave him a puppy. So he ends up raising this puppy, he keeps it.
Was this like the law of surprise or what?
Yeah, basically. He was not expecting it at all. And he almost didn't take the dog, but then he's like, you know what? I could probably use a dog. And he said it was the best thing. It's probably the only thing that got him through 300 days by himself because he had that companion. But he also, he set a trap to catch these wild boars or wild pigs, I guess. And he didn't catch any, but he caught one, but it was a baby. It was like a newborn, almost maybe just a couple weeks old baby pig. And, but then of course, the mother's gone and the family's, he can't find them. So he's like, well, what do I do with this baby? I don't want to eat it because he felt too bad for the baby to eat it. So he's like, well, I guess I just got to raise it. So then now he has this pig and this dog.
Wow. And
they just follow him around the forest.
Wow, what a man one with nature.
I know. But it turns out it's just so interesting. But anyway, there's a sad ending to one of those stories. So I won't say nobody dies. So I'll say that. But he ends up having to let go of one, give one away. I won't say which because I don't want to spoil the ending. But
just so everyone's prepared.
It's the pig. It's the pig. Okay.
That didn't last very long.
Well, I mean, people are really sensitive about dogs. So not that they're not about pigs, but
so don't worry, guys. You can watch it now.
Yeah, I might cut this part out, but the pig. Maybe I won't tell you it's a pig. I don't know. We'll see. How I'm feeling the day.
You either know or you don't.
You either know or you don't. Was it the dog?
Yeah.
Was it the pig? Anyway.
Did you ever see that video of the guy camping out in, what was it, like Pleasure Island and the Disney property during COVID times?
No, I don't think so.
So there's this whole abandoned island on Disney property that's like, just didn't really have anybody on it because COVID and everything. It was just kind of this open island. And some guy, it was like in one of, not the part that people are allowed to be. And he just kind of like swam out there basically and was on the island for a long time.
Wow.
Until like they basically discovered he was there. And he actually posted the video of himself like hiding in a bush, like as people were searching through the woods for him, essentially.
Really?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's probably more like the shy guy who just like does something illegal. And
I know there's like some people that do kind of like urban camping out where they'll find like little kind of abandoned places like nearby towns and stuff where they can just like basically like almost like a bum would, like just kind of like camp out in a way that is like, generally not allowed, but it's just kind of like you can find little spaces and stuff where you can set up like a little propane grill or something, heat up some food and like spend the night for free out just like behind a rest stop or something, like somewhere where like people don't really go.
Well, here's the thing. This goes right into my third recommendation. Okay. So
Perfect.
the third YouTube video / channel you should check out is this one called, I think it's called Vagrant Holiday. And so basically there's a guy who he goes to Japan and he lives like a vagrant, which is like a homeless person for, I don't know how long actually. I can't remember how long he did it for, but it was quite a while. It was like at least a week. I don't know if it was more than that or not, but it's a documentary style and I think it's 2 hours long. But it's so interesting because again,
meanwhile the 300-hour guy or 300-day guy got it down to an hour.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how. Like, how did he go through that footage? Actually, I don't think so. The channel that the 300 days survived guy, the channel that it was put up on was not his channel. Like, he's not the one that like put it up. Somebody else did. So I think somebody else might have paid him to do this so that he could make a video of it, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know the story, but it was just interesting to know. But
so the vagrant guy.
Yeah, so the vagrant guy, like he's really rough around the edges, but he's really interesting to listen to, like his commentary and stuff.
So like most homeless people.
Yeah. He's not Japanese, so he doesn't speak the language, but he has to try to communicate with them and also like befriend a bunch of people so that he can get help and things like that. Like he goes hitchhiking, which he tells a story about how he did hitchhiking in the USA and it was like the crappiest experience of his life. And then he's like, but I'm going to try it here in Japan. And then in Japan, it was like a breeze. Everybody was so nice and they would just pick him up and they would tell him their whole life story and everything. So it was pretty interesting.
But he couldn't understand them?
Well, a lot of them could speak English or like partial English.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So pretty much so. But I think there was one where he was in the car with them and they're just talking to him in Japanese and he's not responding at all. And they
he's just like shaking his head. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but they just keep going and going. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how awkward.
Well, you got to fill the void somehow, right?
Yeah. But what's really great about it is he shows a lot of the country. He shows a lot of areas that you don't see in like other popular videos of Japan. Even people who vlog in Japan, they go to like the touristy places or like the beautiful places. But he shows like the everyday places. And so, yeah, it's actually really, I mean, he does go to some touristy places, but it's anyway, and he sleeps just wherever he can find a place to sleep. Like he'll sleep in the woods. He'll go behind places and sleep. And he just has a sleeping bag and then he'll hide it. Like sometimes if he finds a good place, he'll hide his stuff like under leaves and then he'll go and explore and then he'll come back. Anyway, it's really interesting. So those 3 are my YouTube recommendations for the week. If you like that kind of thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's some, I guess mostly when I'm getting on YouTube lately, it's for stuff like I don't know, skit shows or something. So
skit shows?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's a huge uptick in YouTubers lately that just do like skits and
oh yeah, like
bits and
Gus
stuff.
Johnson and stuff.
Sure. Oh my gosh, there's this guy recently. Hold on, let me see if I can Google it. Okay. Yeah, this guy is so funny. He's got an interesting style to his videos. And he actually made a really funny kind of meta video about how he makes his videos.
Yeah.
It's Joel Haver. He does some videos that are like, it's almost like, there's a word for this. You basically draw over frame by frame. You go and like draw like a cartoon almost, but over like a frame of video. Okay. So you get like a more kind of realistic look to it, but it's not, I don't know, you get a more realistic like movement and look and stuff, but it's animated in a way. So it's interesting. And he does a really funny video about like the first time you play an RPG. And he has a whole series of those kinds of videos. He also does like normal skit videos, but
okay,
those are really funny. So that's my YouTube recommendation. There you go.
Very cool.
YouTube recommendation of the week. It's very interesting though when you find people that have like those kind of unique styles that stand out and like really grab your attention.
Yes.
Which is so like fascinating thing about YouTube because there's like a bajillion people on it. Everyone has like posted a YouTube video in their life, I think, at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's just fascinating whenever it, I don't know, you find people who just like, as soon as you see it, you're like, this is different. And something about it like sticks out to me,
Yeah. Yeah. I find that's true too with like other things.
Oh man, another one that has just been a great filler of my time is just the Binging with Babish. Everybody knows, but it's a great show.
That's the cooking one, right?
Yeah, where you like cook stuff from things like from movies and TV and stuff. Like he recently did the angel food cake from Groundhog Day on Groundhog's Day.
Oh, he did? That's kind of interesting.
That was good.
Positive vibes, though. We're going for positive vibes. You signed up for this podcast to learn some productivity, so I'm going to shove it down your throat now, okay?
Is that why they signed up?
Yeah. Obviously. I don't even know how to transition into this because it has nothing to do with what we've been talking about unless you plan on being productive while trying to survive in the wild or...
Doesn't matter. We're pivoting.
It's literally like the opposite of what we've been talking about because all these people are the opposite of conforming to any kind of productivity.
Yeah, they're how to manage outside of society. We're telling you how to manage inside
there
of
we
society.
go. Yeah. Okay, ready? So let's go. So what I've found basically is that there's been a lot of self-help going around the internet. Everybody's looking for, just a little peace in their life and a little bit of meaning. They're trying to figure out what the heck they want and how to get it. So that's kind of what spurred this, I guess, my mad scribblings of productivity.
We want to know what the process is. What's your your go-to? How does the mind of Lisa keep the wild demands of society at bay?
Okay. I'll tell you. And basically self-help can be boiled down to 4 things. Being self-aware, / having confidence. I feel like you kind of have to have that if you want to be happy or if you want to have a direction in life, if you want to know what you want, obviously, you kind of need, and you have to have the confidence to like go for it. So self-confidence / awareness, discipline and habits. You have to know your why and your purpose for doing things. And you have to have pretty decent time management skills. So basically, don't ever read a self-help book. That's all you need to know. You need to know how to build your self-confidence and your self-awareness, how to build your discipline and habits, how to find your why and your purpose, and how to be more successful with your time management. There, done. Mic drop.
Oh, wow. Just laid it out there. You had like a TED Talk ready. That was awesome.
All right. Well, anyways,
that was like chapter 1 of your book.
Stay tuned for that. But anyways, productivity. This is going to seem a little bit off topic, but it's really not, because in my opinion, taking care of yourself is productive, and you kind of have to do that first before you can be productive. So
True.
I think the way to, you can't even be productive unless you start your day off right. So don't regurgitate things in your throat when I tell you about morning routines, because I know I know it's going to sound yuppie or whatever, but it's true. Morning routines are pretty much essential for setting your mind right. And, like setting yourself up for success. So doing something in the morning that you can stick to will seriously help train your brain that it will build your self-confidence, because you'll be making yourself proud every single day by accomplishing the thing that you told yourself that you would do in the morning. It will calm your mind and really focus it so that, you can make the best of your day. You can set your intentions for the day, and you can fill your mind with things that inspire you or get you ready. So a lot of things that help are, like I said, setting intentions or having a clear vision for the day. So taking time to really think about that before you start the day. Doing any kind of movement. So walking, doing yoga, light movement, nothing like, you could bar into some
people wait for a run.
Intense. Yeah, you could do that, because that's kind of meditative too if you're running and you're kind of just switching off the brain a little bit. And then always setting yourself up with an abundance mindset, and that includes having gratitude and positivity to start your day. Because anybody knows that if you start your day negatively, it's basically going to compound throughout the day, and it's going to be a lot harder to be productive. So
woke up on the wrong side of the bed, as they say.
Exactly. The age-old adage. So I'm going to get into some science with you guys. Yeah. So this is the part about...
Put on your lab coats.
Oh, yeah. Don't just put on your lab coats. Put on those protective glasses. Get your whole entire PPE suit on for this, because, oh my gosh, there's a bug in here. It's driving me nuts. Let me recenter.
You heard it, people. Get on your whole PP.
Your whole PPE hazmat suit. Okay.
To protect you against the bugs.
There is nothing worse than a bug in your room. There's nothing that will shatter your positivity and your grounded, centered mind than a fly buzzing around your head. Okay.
What do you mean? It makes you realize that, every day is a gift, because, they only get 24 hours.
Oh, true. Way to get meta there. Okay. We're not really going meta, but... Okay, I just had to throw back some water. My throat's getting dry. Okay.
What is the opposite of meta?
The opposite of meta is zeta. 100.
Okay. Hey Google, what's the opposite of meta?
I'm gonna actually look it up, because I can't function until I know. There is no defined opposite of meta.
How about that?
Yeah, it just means into, inside of, within.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hey Google, stop.
She's going out of control. AI.
Yeah, she ran away with it. Yeah, it's fascinating. I guess meta is like outside of, or like above in a weird way. So it'd be inside.
You're going above the...
Well, because usually meta is outside of, but also pertaining to, right? Mm-hmm. So
surrounding.
It's like, it's not something that's totally unrelated. It is related, but it's like...
Very related.
Yeah, it's like related in the sense that it's the overarching concept.
All encompassing, like, it's meta. We all know.
So it would be something that is within it, but not pertaining to it would be meta, or anti-meta.
Anti-meta. That would be the opposite.
Yeah. It would be like when you get off topic. I think that would be meta on some random
we know
tangent
that.
Like this.
We know that.
So this was very anti-meta. We've done it.
Yes. We've stuck to our roots.
I just want to say though, but about journaling and stuff, like I've been trying to get better about doing that kind of stuff, and it does. Yeah, I think there is something to that, because it's like your intentionality and just like understanding what you want to do that day. It's like so easy to just wake up, go through motions, and then just kind of feel like you're suddenly like listfully going about your day, just kind of like reacting to whatever's happening and not really like putting forth an effort to accomplish anything that matters to you and like gives you a sense of purpose by the end of the day, feeling like, oh, I accomplished what?
Yeah.
Like,
and
it just kind of makes you conscientious of it.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of times too, like it's one of those things where you get up in the day and you have a ton of stuff to do, but it's almost that knowledge of knowing that you have a ton of stuff to do that makes you not do anything because A, it's overwhelming, but B, it's like, well, where do I start? Like what's more important? How do I prioritize? Stuff like that. And when you really like center and ground and like write it out, or you can make a list, or you can just have one intention that's like, I just want to, prioritize today. Then there's something about, and this might get a little too woo-woo for anybody, but there is something about like self-talk and like words that you put inside your brain that can help recenter your brain. So like it just starts thinking of those things more often. So like if you think
they're like anchor words,
yeah. Like, so if you start thinking about those particular words, like prioritize or, healthy or certain things like that, you're more likely to accomplish the things that you want because that's in your brain, and it starts to sort of categorize your brain a little bit better and focus it towards the things that you want. Yeah, so that's a good point, and journaling helps you do that. It also helps get rid of all of the extra crap that's sort of like in the way so that you stop thinking about that because it's kind of out there and off your shoulders or whatever. I don't really do that though. I have a hard time just because sometimes I'll say, oh, just write whatever's on your mind. Like, don't even worry about complete sentences. Don't worry about structure. Just like basically vomit all over the page and
just get it out.
I'm like, yeah, I have a hard time with that. I don't know why. I just do. But
it's like, where do you put it? What does it mean? Like, how do you...
And it's not supposed to mean anything. Right. It's just supposed to be like I don't know. But I know what you mean. Like, it needs to mean something to me, or else why am I doing it?
Or like it feels like normally when you deal with something, it's like pulling on a thread because as something comes out, the next thing chains to it as like pertaining to relevancy. Like if you're trying to write down an idea or if you're trying to solve a problem, like you always like human nature wants to follow a path that kind of almost presents itself in a way. But yeah, when somebody's just like, just throw it out there, so see what sticks.
Yeah, I think that's the issue because you and I probably would have the same issue of once we start writing, it's like our random tangent situation. Like, when do we stop writing? At some point, we're going to have to stop writing and there's just no end. So,
and it's like you're always having to stop and go off tangent. It's like, you're always you're always trying to say something like fence, rock, beard, nose,
right,
orange, eagle, bamboo.
Exactly. But one, well, this is going to be a little bit later, but and you could do this in the morning or not, but I'll get to the whole like goals and organizing things so that you have a plan of action. But really, in the morning, it's more just about calming your body, putting positivity into your body, putting inspiration into your body, and really setting yourself up for a successful, positive day. And part of that too is doing movement, and a lot of times grounding yourself, which is why yoga is kind of a big thing, but also walking, or even just going outside. And a big thing that's coming out, and a lot of evidence is being shown that, they call it grounding, but it can also be called earthing, or just going barefoot is really all it is touching nature in some way.
Or dirting.
And dirting, yeah. Mm-hmm. Or just like toe scrubbing, flooring. You can name it anything you want. As long as you're touching the earth, basically. And that doesn't include walking barefoot in your home. It's more just like actually going outside, putting your feet, or sitting on grass, or whatever.
Unless there's COVID or radiation or something. Unless you're living in apocalypse times.
Yeah, unless that. So anyways, so there's evidence showing in the Journal of Environmental and Public Health that
you have sources.
Doing this, I know I've got sources, guys. I've got science to back me up because, I'm a person. And that literally means nothing.
And you're fallible, so that means, you got to do your due diligence and get some facts behind you.
Yeah, exactly. So they showed that doing this, like going barefoot specifically, but, I think it's good for whatever nature grounding you can do. It benefits your skin conductivity. It moderated your heart rate variability. It improved glucose regulation. It reduced stress and supported immune function. And in one study, chronic pain patients using grounded carbon fiber mattresses slept better and experienced less pain. The Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine says that earthing increases the surface charge of red blood cells, and as a result, the cells avoid clumping, which can decrease blood viscosity.
What in the world?
High viscosity is a significant factor in heart disease. I'm
so viscous.
I know. So there's a book called Balanced and Barefoot, and this one is specifically geared towards children, but it gives the same benefits to adults, but it's basically showing how unrestricted outdoor play makes for strong, confident, and capable children. And that's written by Angela Hanscom, and it has a lot of science in there about those benefits of just like unrestricted play and kids getting dirty and rolling around in nature and going barefoot everywhere. And I just found this really interesting. And also because I grew up like that. I grew up very much barefoot all the time, unless I was in school or, having to go into a public place that required shoes. I was always running around barefoot and always running around outside. And I find that it's like happening less and less. But I do feel like with this evidence, it shows that it's really helpful to, again, reduce a lot of the stress that is happening in your life. It's basically a stress reducer. So, and the less stress you have, the easier it is to focus and concentrate on what you need to do to be productive. So that's how it correlates, guys. That's where I'm coming from.
Also, just any kind of like meditation and going into nature, being in the outdoors, exercise as well. Great for that.
Yes. So I have another study that shows that regular walking, as little as half an hour a day, can reduce cancer risk, improve cardiovascular health, and help with weight management, obviously. Walking can also create physical and emotional rhythms. Unlike running, which can be rushed and high impact, walking is gentle, nourishing, and can give us space. We have an opportunity to emotionally connect and work through the day's events. And even a light stroll can release endorphins.
What was the time frame you put on there? You said like an hour a day, was it?
Oh, it says as little as half an hour a day.
Wow. No excuse, everybody.
I know. You can do it, right? Speaking of which, I should do that today.
Follow your own advice, Lisa.
Normally I walk in the mornings, but actually I walk in the mornings and in the evenings, but it didn't happen today. So I need to do that. Anyways, so get out, walk. And that's what, okay. So while you can do intensive, high impact exercises in the morning, a lot of times it's recommended to do low impact, like de-stressing, activities like that to sort of help slow you down and regulate you and before you do the high impact. So you could do the high impact, like intense workouts and like run and stuff, but after you do the more calming, focusing, before you like pump yourself up and get ready for the day, kind of just center yourself. Anyway.
I'm really sad that you didn't go first. I feel like my bit on productivity was all very tangible, like these are notes. And
oh dang, you're going for the throat.
But yours is like the overall idea of why you should. So I feel like it should have been reversed, and you should have gone first. So it could have been like, hang on, why are we here in the first place? And then it's like, okay, but these are the notes.
Okay, guys, why are we on planet Earth? What is your purpose? I mean, come on.
Let's get started here. What is the framework for a person that like notes aren't really valuable to you if you can't like center yourself and stay focused on an idea or something, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's true. Like you really need to prime yourself before
This is the primer.
you act. Yeah, this is the primer. And another part of that primer is your environment. So I think it's pretty clear that when you have an inspiring environment, a clean environment, well, not necessarily clean, but clean's nice, you know, for health reasons. But I just mean like uncluttered, so that because all that clutter is going to basically be extra weight on you and make you feel like, oh, I have to eventually clean that clutter. And it's just one more thing that's constantly reminding you of something else you have to do. And when you have something clean, it's like wiping the slate clean and your environment's nice and like ready for you to start a new project. So that's why having a clean environment can be inspiring, or just putting up things that will inspire you, like vision boards or like a Halo mini that's like, ooh, I like that Halo mini thing. That I'm inspired now. So this can
inspired to charge forward.
Let's do something that inspires you. You could put up a picture of Michael Jordan, or you know, whatever gets you going. So this can be people, places, and things. So like also keeping positive people in your life, kind of avoiding toxic people as much as you can.
Hater blockers, as we say.
Hater blockers, that's right. Try to go to places that are inspiring, kind of surround yourself with places that, you know, aren't feeling like they're going to drag you down or depressing you or whatever. And obviously surrounding yourself with things that are, like I said, inspiring. Like chocolate, maybe. I don't know.
Whoa, that's big coming from you.
Yeah. I'm saying that because I have a box of chocolate on my desk.
And it's inspiring you to be better.
Well, I got it for Valentine's Day, and I'm using it instead of eating it. I'm using it as an iPad stand.
You monster!
Anyway.
It's not even it's Halloween. It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
You mean Valentine's Day?
What am I? I said Halloween, Thanksgiving, but I meant Valentine's Day. It's not even Valentine's Day yet.
Actually, Valentine's Day has come and gone.
Oh,
by
true.
The time this is
Never mind,
out.
everybody. We're dating. Never mind. Yeah, you're right. Cut it all.
Okay.
Cut it out.
Cut that out.
It's like April right now. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So another way to help your environment is limiting your screen time. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, no, you can't do that. Just make them all orange. It's fine.
I know. That's something that I learned recently. There's like an app that does that for you on certain, I mean, at least, I don't know if it's like on both iPhones and Androids.
It's built into Android.
But it is. It's not an iPhone, I don't think. I don't know. That is something I need to research. But I think there's like for iPhone users, I think you have to download this app called, I want to say it's something Lux. Flux.
I know that's an app for the desktop computer that can turn your screen orange.
Yeah, I think it's that, but they have an app for the phone that you can use. Yeah, so do that for your blue light, because that does actually help. But you can also, like, when I say cut down on screen time, I just mean like when you're trying to be productive. And we've talked about this before, I believe, but there's a way to sort of regulate which apps you can access.
Orangey regulate?
Orangey regulate?
Orangey regulate. Never mind. Nate Dogg was there too, but never mind. Let's move on.
Okay, so it's called Downtime on iPhone. I'm sure they have one on Android or some kind of thing where you can have time limits on your screen.
Oh, yeah. The training wheels. So they force you out.
Yeah, they force you out.
Like, hey,
they
buddy,
won't access it during a certain time like you set. So like if you want to be productive from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., you can set that timer and then you can't access any of the apps. Because a lot of times we do it, not subconsciously, what am I saying? Like absentmindedly, where we just pick up our phone and start looking at it because it's out of habit or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you have that system on there where you can't, like you might pick up your phone, but then you're like, oh yeah, duh, I'm supposed to be focused right now.
It's like parental controls, but if it was parent controls. Because it's to control the parent.
You're basically controlling yourself. Yeah, so moving on to our goals, writing, and organizing.
Oh my gosh,
so
great headers.
Our notes. Here's the thing. Lately, I've moved on to a different note-taking system.
Whoa, big news.
I know. I really like Notion for things like ideas. You know, like if I have an idea I want to maybe one day reference back to or something like that.
Okay.
But I've really been loving just paper, old school note-taking.
You're like on a Post-it right now. That's wild. What is this?
Isn't it? I know. Just like the not three-ring binder, the spiral notebooks, college ruled paper. Sometimes I also have a grid one that I use sometimes. I'm loving it. Like, go old school if you're not inspired to take notes. It will help you. I promise.
Yeah, go out, get some slate and a chisel, and take your notes on a stone tablet.
I mean, if it helps. But it's probably not the most productive. So.
Classic. Interesting.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's been working for you. I know certain people really enjoy like the tactile notion of it, and it really kind of like draws a strong connection from mind to brain, or from brain to hand, rather.
Yeah. I find that to be true. I find that it almost commits it to memory, but also action a little bit more for me when I write it down. And what was I going to say? There's just nothing comparable. I've tried finding another way to do it, but there's just no replacing good old pen and paper. So yeah, productivity. So a lot of times people struggle with productivity because they have a ton of stuff to get done, or it's a huge project or something like that they're just overwhelmed, and getting started is the hardest part. So I have a couple recommendations for that. First of all, it's called, well, I don't know what it's called. I can't remember the name for it. But it's basically breaking things down into smaller bits so that it's easier. And so we could do this with goals, but you can even do it with like a daily activity, like cleaning a room, where you say, okay, well, I'm just going to pick up the socks. And then you pick up the socks, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to just put these papers away. Just one thing at a time. Like, don't think of like, oh, I got to clean my room, because that could be really overwhelming.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It really helps in any activity that's difficult for you. We were talking about it last time, and like TV shows being an easier medium to jump into rather than like a book, because there's that barrier to entry. With tasks or really anything you need to do in your life, like reducing the amount of like entry cost, essentially, or like even emotionally or mentally, like having to load up a whole like program in your brain that's like, okay, how do I go about cleaning and looking around, you're cataloging everything that needs to be cleaned, when really maybe just taking the dishes on this table to the sink is like good enough for just that moment. Like, just that instant to be like, okay, it's like 1% cleaner, and I can make it 1% cleaner, in an hour from now. And by the end of the day, the house will be much cleaner than it was, rather than it getting dirtier every day from, just leaving dishes around.
And there's actually a good, I was listening to another podcast where a girl was talking about her sort of system with keeping things clean, because she has like a super clean house all the time, and people are like, what the heck? Yeah.
You're the worst.
You are so annoying. But she was basically saying that she actually doesn't spend a lot of time cleaning. She just takes about like 5 to 10 minutes at the most every morning and every night, where she at night before she goes to bed, she'll just take 10 minutes and clean up a couple things. Like, it's literally like just so it's not a lot of time. It's not like she has to invest a lot of time. So she just like puts things away that she had left out for the whole day. And then in the morning she does just that's like clutter. And then in the morning she just does like 5 to 10 minutes of actual cleaning, like vacuuming or wiping down the counters or like whatever, So she's like, and so really it does get messy throughout the day. But I always start the day off with a clean house, and then the rest of the day, I don't have to worry about it until nighttime when things get a little cluttered again, and then I just declutter, and anyway, I haven't put it into practice.
The thing is, I bet she spends more time than she imagines, but it's probably just it's a testament to how good habits can really help out. Like if you're the kind of person that just puts things away when they're done using them, or like you build those habits of like keeping spaces like uncluttered
tidy
by just getting rid of things that you don't need, or just getting in a habit of finding places for things so that you don't bring something into your house and not think about, okay, well, where is this going to go? Like I think, you get something from Amazon, you set it on your kitchen counter, and then you're like, oh, that's been there for a week now. I never thought about where I would put this thing. Like I need it sometimes, but where does it go when I'm not using it, And then those things start to build up, or you start to just kind of shove them in places that aren't really well thought out or are kind of inconvenient. And then they just create like bottlenecks and pain points that compound.
Right. There's everybody in the world has heard of this book, but The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. That's her whole thing, is like basically don't have anything if it doesn't have a place or a meaning to you. So, like it's just easy to keep up with things and have a tidy place if like you have a place for everything. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what you were saying. But also back to what you were saying about just taking your dishes to the sink, or like doing one thing at a time, that a lot of times that just kind of triggers you to keep going. So a lot of times that's just the first step. And once you do that one thing, you're like, okay, well, let me just do this next thing, and let me do this next thing.
Yeah,
and
you realize how easy that was. And you're like, oh, wow, that coffee table looks so much better now.
Yeah. So a lot of times it's just getting started. And then that happens to me a lot. Like when I have to do something like that, I'm like, okay, well, maybe if I just do this one corner, and then all of a sudden the next thing I know, I've already cleaned the whole house. It's like, it just kicks me in gear.
Definitely.
So, but with like goals, like actual goals that you want to accomplish either for the day or for a year or 5 years or whatever, you just break them down and say, I'm going to make a goal for 1 to 5 years. And then I'm going to make another goal that's I can accomplish in 6 months that will get me to the 1 year, 5 year goal. And then keep going lower and lower, like to 3 months, and then to 1 month, and then to a week, and then just today. Like, what can I do today? So you break it way down into functional steps that you can take to get to a certain point by a certain time that is ultimately going to get you to your big goal, which happens in a year from now. But so that way you have an action plan, because without an action plan, a lot of times people don't know where to start, or they don't accomplish their goals because they never had that plan of action to get they get lost and like, well, what do I do? But if you can narrow it down and be really specific about things you can do, then you're more likely to do them. And that goes into habits next. So basically, the habits are your life. So
and where did you take these notes?
When did I take these notes?
Where did you take these notes? Like, you clearly have an outline here.
I do, yeah. I wrote them down on paper with my pen. Yeah, is that what you're asking me? Like, where did I write them? Yeah, they're on.
So this is a new system.
This is my new system, and look how well it's working already.
But you said Notion was better for ideas. Isn't this kind of idea?
You got me there.
You liar. You're done with Notion. You've evolved.
I probably could use Notion more than I have.
Oh, you're just having fun with the paper, though. Live your best life.
I am. I like Notion for things that I basically want to like come back to, that aren't like, I guess I would want to come back to this, but I kind of know it already. So it's more just the outline so that I stay on track with talking.
See, you got to get Rocket Journal so you can scan that in, and then it becomes.
I do have that. I have Rocket Journal. I do. I have it. I haven't actually tried it. I bought it, and I haven't used it once. I need to do it. I need to actually use it.
And then you can just import it into Notion, and then you have your reference.
Yeah, exactly.
Things.
I know. I should try that. Remind me to do that. I'll try to do that before our next episode. That's my goal.
Okay.
I'll make little goals too. Like today, I'll make a note to pull it out. Anyways, so the only thing that's going to get you to your goals is having an action plan, self-confidence, but then also remember we need discipline and habits. So the greatest difference between accomplishing something and not accomplishing something is realizing that motivation is fleeting and it will never get you through difficult mindsets, I guess.
Right. Just the raw motivation in and of itself. Just like,
yeah,
it's never actually going to get you through. I mean, when you say never, I mean, there are obviously things you can be motivated to do, things that are pleasurable to you, like watch a movie or something. That's probably going to carry you to the end. But anything that has any sort of difficulty to it, even something like reading a book that is part enjoyment, but also like has that little bit of work involved to it.
Yes. So motivation is definitely needed because that's your like far-sighted goal. So you have to have a why/a motivating factor for like the reason why you're taking on this task or this whatever. So that's your motivation, the end result, but the discipline comes in actually accomplishing that motivation, basically. And so a good way to maintain discipline, because I've had a really hard time with discipline for certain things, like things that aren't necessarily work-related, that are basically like personal goals that I want to accomplish on my own for my own personal reasons. I have a really hard time being disciplined to accomplish those things on my own. Right. So I find that having like a habit tracker is really helpful. So it can be on paper, or it can be on the computer, or it can be an app on your phone. There's a couple out there that I've heard are really good called Habit Tracker. And then another one is called Habit Daily Tracker. Those are two different ones. I haven't tried them, but they're very similar. Okay, so I bought again, pen and paper one.
Oh,
that
wow.
Is
You're
basically like, I know. I don't know. It's just one of those things that I like because
I love it.
I know. I don't know why. I'm just into the pen and paper vibe lately. I don't know. But this one has bubbles that you fill in or you can check off or whatever. And obviously it can be for anything. So, and you can have multiple habit trackers. So you can do one for like, I want to remember to take my vitamins every day. I want to walk every day, drink a lot of water every day, or accomplish a specific task every day, or at least do like 5 minutes of writing every day if you want to write a book or something. I don't know, whatever it is. And then you just check it off after you do it. And then at the end of the day or the end of the week or whatever, you have all of your little check marks. And so you can say, you can kind of keep track of like, because sometimes if you don't, you forget. You think, oh, well, did I do that on Monday? Did I take my vitamins yesterday or whatever? And so it also just kind of helps keep you accountable.
Yeah.
By if like, it also helps if you don't have an accountability partner that is doing the same thing as you to like keep you on track. Because a lot of times people are like, oh, well, get an accountability partner to keep you motivated and keep you true and whatever. But you could be trying to do something that nobody else can relate to. And that way it's like a visual accountability for yourself. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Just a tip, a little tidbit.
You gotta have that stuff for your eyes too.
Yeah, for yourself. That's another thing that they say is like, a lot of times people put too much pressure with productivity to like accomplish a whole ton of stuff in one day. And that's not always feasible. It's not always necessary. Everybody experiences every single day differently. So, like your moods can alter, your hormones can alter, your the availability of things can be altered, the weather can be changed. So you can't really be super hard on yourself for not being exactly the same every single day.
Right.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little leeway, a little play.
Exactly.
Don't be too hard on yourself, guys.
Yeah, don't be too hard. Sometimes just getting out of bed in the morning could be the best thing that you did for yourself that day. I mean, to be truthful, that could be really hard for some people on some days. Especially if you're trying to get up at a certain time. Like some people are like, oh, I want to get up at 7 a.m. and do something. And then they get hard on themselves because they woke up at 8 or something like that. And it's like, okay, well, maybe your body just needed a little bit extra sleep, you know? I mean, if it becomes a bad habit every single day for a month and now you're like just getting up late every day, that's one thing. But if you get up late once in a while, you know, give yourself a break. Also, what was I going to say about low expectations? I wrote low expectations down.
It seems like you need to have higher expectations for your note-taking.
Yeah, exactly. Low expectations. I put a star next to motivation.
Probably goes into, a motivation killer. And also being too hard on yourself is just having too high expectations.
That's true. Have realistic expectations. And I mean, you want to shoot for the stars. Or wait, what is it? Shoot for the moon and land among the stars. That kind of thing. But if you do land among the stars and not the moon, like, it's okay. Just keep trying, you know. That's the thing is, like, even if you... That's a big one for me, is people get really hung up on the failure, you know, like when they fail or when they don't do something they said they were going to do. That really destroys your self-confidence. It destroys your trust in yourself of accomplishing more and more and more. So then you start giving up more and more and more. Mm-hmm. And I think people put a lot more pressure on failure than is necessary. I think if they just accept that failure is part of the process, like everybody fails. And the biggest thing is just to keep trying, just start and start over. And every time you start over, it's going to be easier. It's going to be, you're going to get a little farther. And that's really just the goal, is just to do a little bit more to improve your life, to do something good for your future self every single day. And as long as you're doing that, you're going to be moving in the right direction. It might be slower on some days, some months, some seasons might be a little bit slower, but eventually you're going to get where you're going. But right now, you just have to understand this is where you're meant to be. But don't go too easy on yourself, right? Like, be realistic. Like, are you being a slacker or is it something that you need?
Lisa, you're the one woman, good cop, bad cop. You're too easy on yourself, but not too easy on yourself. Come on, get that button to gear.
Well, that's where intuition and self-awareness comes in, because you really need to know, like, am I just having a lazy day because I'm lazy today, or am I having a lazy day because I need to have a lazy day?
Yeah, you got to realize the point at which you're like, all right, this is not going to get me. I'm not going to get to where I want to go in life if I'm, taking this many lazy days. So this is time to kick it up.
Exactly. What was I going to say? Something about
having a monkey.
Yeah, having a monkey on your back and treating it nice so he doesn't rip your face off.
Oh, God. That can happen.
That can happen. Don't act like it's weird.
I mean, it is weird. But it can happen as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, all of this stuff people probably mostly know. It's more just like, if you, hopefully some kind of tip helped and you'll be more productive. Just make your lists. You got to make lists. I feel like it's impossible to be productive without lists, unless you're like already in a routine of habitually being productive. Because the goal is to become habitually productive. Because once you're there, I mean, it's okay. This is more for like, if you're not really that productive, you haven't found the groove, you haven't formed the habits that you still need to form. That's really what this is. So I think it's necessary to write out your lists, to have, I mean, some people aren't visual people, like visual learners and things, but it really helps to have a visual representation of what it is that you want, how you're going to get there, and, things you can do to track that. I don't know. Just my opinion. Just things that I've learned over time, because I've read a lot of freaking self-help books, okay?
And so she's basically summarizing them all for you so you don't have to.
Exactly. I have to do something with this knowledge. So anyway, this is just...
That's really good information.
Me trying to justify the amount of money that I've spent on books.
Well, you've come to a solid understanding, it seems like. I agree with pretty much everything you said there. I mean, it's all, kind of
pretty much everything.
The thing that I always comes up when I'm hearing this kind of stuff is I have this kind of mental image of how people's minds are. Maybe there's just my the way I think about it as a developer, but people's minds are like biological computers. It's like we're artificial intelligence, except we're not artificial. We're just intelligent.
Yeah.
But you can see these biases when an AI is being created or something, and they're trying to do some kind of intelligent program that learns from data, and they provided a set of data, and you can kind of see the biases arise out of that. And no matter how smart they make it, no matter how much the knowledge is or the wiring is good under the hood, so to speak, what you put in, you can only get so much output. If you're going to put in certain things into your mind each day, you're going to get the same output every day. Even if you are as self-aware as you can be, you actually need to take the steps to do it and put stuff on paper, get your mind into a state that it can actually evolve into something new. And then, or in the case, if you just want to upkeep productivity, just streamlining all those processes. And if you're in a good place, figuring out how to stay there and how to eliminate any pain points or things that might take you off track.
Exactly.
It's like you're programming yourself.
Yeah, true. And that's a good point too, kind of related, is you don't want to have that much of an emotional connection with the outcomes. I think that's what I meant by low expectations, is when I say, when you're trying to accomplish something, you have you basically want to exceed your own expectations in the end, because, what am I trying to say?
Without that, you might feel like you've failed, or at least repetitively ending up below the bar that you're setting for yourself. You're never going to feel like you're getting where you want to, even if you might be going in the right direction generally.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And just realizing that it's not when you do fail, or not even fail, or when you don't accomplish whatever large goal that you've set out, don't get super emotional about that. You should appreciate how far you have come, mm-hmm. and start from there, and then keep going, I guess, and not worry so much about the outcome. And worry about the journey.
Yeah, you're also just kind of experimenting with yourself. You're capable of it. I mean, almost everybody is not. If you have an idea to accomplish something, chances are enough about that thing to really achieve it. I mean, unless it's be like President of the United States or something. If it's something that you're interested in, if it's something that you have a lot of knowledge about, and that you're thinking man, I really feel like I could do something here. There is something to be gained from that you can achieve. And if you just end up not making it in that direction, it's just a failed attempt at going in the right direction. It's not like you are incapable of it. I feel like a lot of people take failure as a point against themselves. They're trying to think oh, well, maybe I just can't be who I want to be, and just feel defeated. It's just exactly. An experiment. You took a step, ended up not being the right one, maybe. But learn from your new position. Maybe you need to take a step back, but that's one direction you've learned is not the way to go.
Yeah, and that's a really good way to put it, is that you're learning about yourself every time you go through something, every time you accomplish something good or don't hit your mark. You're learning about yourself and what you need to do to change or alter or adjust or adapt in order to keep going and keep succeeding. And really, at the end of the day, it's about making yourself proud. It's about doing the things that at the end of the day, you'll say, I'm proud of what I did today, and I feel good about it.
Well, Lisa, are you proud of what we did today?
I am proud. I think it's quite the accomplishment to be on episode 25.
Yeah, we are. Oh my gosh.
I know. 25. Can you believe it?
We are a quarter of the way to 100 episodes. Think about that.
Oh my gosh. We're winners.
Successful. High five.
We are so...
All right. Well, we're patting ourselves on the back over here, and you can too, people at home. Just do what is there? There's like an acronym for
I thought you were gonna say insert anchor promo here.
Oh yeah, do that. Oh, wait, no, I got it. Yes, there's an acronym: SMART versus VAPID goals. So SMART goals are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. So you need to be able to specifically know, you have to tell specifically what you're going to do in this amount of time, and they need to be realistic. They need to actually get you where you want to go. And you have to be like, I'm going to do this today. Versus VAPID goals, which are vague, amorphous, pie in the sky, irrelevant, and dislocated goals.
Very, very good. That's exactly what we need to do. This is what we do in therapy. We use SMART goals in therapy for all the time.
And also acronyms are just fun. It's
great. They are.
It's great when things just fit into a nice little acronym.
Yeah, because then you don't have to remember anything.
Yeah, you're just like...
You just get smart.
Yeah, I did forget what the acronym was. I had to Google it. But it's fine. So that's our tips for...
tips for the week.
Mostly Lisa's, because she actually wrote her notes down.
I wrote them down so that I wouldn't forget, because I really wanted to,
And you nailed
help someone out. Well, I don't know if I nailed it. I kind of just wrote like words to remind me, and I was like, I think this is what I meant to say.
I think you nailed it.
Hopefully it made sense.
It was good. Now,
cool.
now I really think you could go do a TED Talk.
Yeah. Could you imagine? People be walking out left and right. I said, come back. I promise it's useful.
I mean, it can't be worse than, what was it? Bill Gates' TED Talk, where he locked the doors and opened a container full of mosquitoes.
No, really?
Yeah, it was like about malaria in Africa. And he was, I guess, making a point that trying to ground the people and like, imagine if you were just covered in mosquitoes and you didn't really have a choice.
Could you imagine that? Oh my gosh. That's like one of my worst nightmares.
As he like opens the container and lets them all go into the room, he's like, yeah, so here's some statistics about like however many and however sample size of mosquitoes carry malaria. Let's think about this. Think about if this is a problem we need to solve.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wild.
Yeah. Having mosquito bites is the worst feeling ever. Well, I don't know about ever, but it's pretty bad. I hate it. Oh my gosh. Speaking of bugs. Okay. So one of my patients was telling me, he's like, oh, have you heard about the, what are they called? What is the name of
cicadas?
Yeah, cicadas. Oh. Have you heard about the cicadas that are all going to be climbing out of the ground and taking over?
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, what the heck? What are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, they're supposed to be coming pretty soon, and they're going to all climb out, and it's going to be so much, it's going to cover the sun. And I'm like, are you joking me right now? Okay, if anybody knows, if anybody's a longtime listener, this is pretty traumatic news for me. Okay, because I have quite a not a phobia. I mean, I just have a serious dislike.
Oh man, 17 years. I Googled it. I thought it was going to be like 4 years or something. But yeah, apparently
what, 17 years?
They hibernate for 17 years underground, essentially. Like they burrow into the ground and they hibernate for 17 years, and then they like molt and come out of the ground. And yeah, so I guess we're on the 17th year of their cycle. So
I thought last year. Listen, I thought last year was an overabundance of these things. Are cicadas all like grasshoppers?
No, they're like a special. They're their own thing.
Okay, so they're.
What the
I typed cicada and it brought up this crazy looking spider.
Okay.
I think I spelled it wrong.
I like how you got scared of a picture.
Trust me, it's anyway.
You just hit some buttons on your keyboard and it scared you.
How do you spell cicada? Oh, never mind. I found it. Yeah. Well, I spelled it with a C and it brought up a spider. Oh, those things.
Yeah, and they're loud. They're like,
oh, yeah.
Oh my God. This actually makes sense now. There was a cicada outside my window like 2 days ago. It was so loud. It sounded like it was in the room. It was crazy.
Really?
Yeah. It was like, it sounded like my alarm was going off on my phone.
Oh, I don't know.
It was a single cicada.
Just one? Could you?
I mean, it was really close to the window, I assume. I mean, by the volume. But yeah.
I don't know. This is going to be an experience for all. Is it all just in one area? Or
it says
is it
they're
everywhere?
taking over the South. They're like mainly in...
Oh, yay.
They've started to emerge and are looking to mate in Virginia, West Virginia, and North Carolina. And they break ground, emerging from their graves. And it's the 2020 Southern Invasion. So it seems like they're mating now. And then it's... I don't know. We're getting some...
Okay.
We're getting... They're starting to spread out.
So they may or may not be coming to Florida. It's pretty close to Florida.
Wild.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, they're not as creepy as grasshoppers, so maybe I'll be okay.
maybe you'll survive.
Stay tuned. All right, it's time to wrap up, guys.
Oh, is it already?
It is. We're done. We need to get out of here.
Stay safe. We need to start building our bunkers from the cicadas. Yeah, it's funny that when they come above ground, we go below ground to survive them.
Yeah, we'll be all right. Stay safe out there.
They're not as bad as grasshoppers. I mean, they're big, but like I feel like they're not going to be.
Do they bite?
Hide. No, they don't bite
you. Okay.
They're just noisy. Okay. They're like annoying crickets. They're like big, fat, annoying crickets.
Do they poop?
I mean, I assume like animals.
It's going to be everywhere, guys. Keep your mouths closed. Do not look up.
If you're a sparrow or something, keep your mouth open.
Ah, true.
Start scooping them
man,
up.
that's true. They're going to like feed a ton of animals.
It's a noble cause that they're giving their lives for. It seems crazy to me that like more owls don't eat them or something because they just go out at night and then they scream for like 8 hours. And it's like I assume like every owl can tell exactly where they are at all times because they're just so loud. Like they could be an acre away and be like, oh, there's a cicada over there.
Well, maybe they do. How do you know they don't?
True. Uptick in owls coming for 2022.
Okay, yeah, true.
All right.
Woo-hoo!
Well,
Woo-hoo!
who? Me.
Go to our Instagram accounts, No Kidding Podcast, and send us an email if you have something cool to say. Maybe we'll read it on the podcast.
Send us a high five.
Oh, definitely send us a high five. Also,
you figure that out. I'm not gonna.
I mean, there's smart people out there that are beautiful. So, also, if you want to answer any polls, questions, riddles, go there to Instagram and do that because we post some stuff like pretty frequently. Well, I mean, we try. No problem. No promises.
No promises.
But I try. Yeah. Trying to think of it. Should I do a riddle real quick?
Do it. Why not? Let's just do it.
All right, I'll do it. Are you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
What is in seasons, seconds, centuries, and minutes, but not in decades, years, or days?
What is in season?
What is in seasons, seconds, centuries, and minutes,
Oh, I see.
but not in decades, years, or days?
Those are some pretty overlapping time frames you've posited to me. So,
well, it's a lot to think about. So think on that and then get back to us. Watch those shows I recommended. And I'm sure, you want to check out the shows Andrew recommended, after the shows I recommended.
of course, Joel Haver.
And then check out that.
Check it out. Also, another weird one, Node. They have a unique style. Yeah,
Node.
Node, all dashes in between the letters.
Ew.
Node.
Sounds like lymph node.
No, it's like a node in a network.
Oh.
Anyways.
Okay.
They have a very unique style that I think stands out. But my 2 cents.
Cool.
Anyways.
Send
good day.
me a link or something.
Good morrow, all.
Good morrow. Talk to you next time.
We'll be back in a fortnight.
All
Prithee, be careful.
Who are you?
So long, pretty well, pip, pip, cheerio, we'll be back soon.
Is it over?
Yeah, it's done. It's been done.
Oh, okay.
You're behind.
I love you.